Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado, and I hope you're doing well. Ballots are going out right now. You may have received your ballot in the mail for the 2025 election. Now, of course, you probably have some very important local races that could be city council, school board, mayor, some ballot measures for your local county or special district that may or may not increase taxes. So you really got to pay attention to that. But every year, Free State Colorado does a ballot guide. So I've been doing it since 2020 and have had some incredible success. And just looking at them here is pretty interesting information on what we've dealt with these past few years here in Colorado. But I'm back again with our 2025 ballot guide. So I'm going to look at our two statewide ballot measures and give you some background, some deep dive, some finance information. I want you to really be informed and educated and hopefully get some information that you're not finding anywhere else. But if you're short on time, vote no. Vote no on Propositions LL and Propositions MM. They are both bad for liberty, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's dig in here. I'm just going to go ahead and read through the ballot guide here and add some commentary along the way. It's an odd year, Colorado, which means not a lot of people are expected to vote. So it's even more important for you to cast your ballot, talk to your neighbors, and actively participate in the election. There are only two statewide ballot initiatives this year. They probably won't be too exciting for most people, but they are important. You can vote in person, of course. I like to do that. But most Colorado voters will mail their ballot back or drop it off. You have until Tuesday, November 4th by 7 p.m. to drop them off at your local county drop box. Both of these measures were referred to the ballot by the state legislature. They are only propositions and not amendments, so they only need a simple majority to become law. Also, it's thanks to the Colorado Taxpayers Bill of Rights, TABOR, that we have the opportunity to vote on these changes to state law. Without TABOR, the legislature could increase our taxes or play games with our money without ever asking the voters for approval. Why TABOR is so important. Not only that, but the Blue Book voter guide that you received in the mail is also thanks to TABOR, often called the TABOR notice, especially at the county level. Let's take a look at these two propositions. Proposition LL, retain and spend state revenue exceeding the estimate for Proposition FF. In 2022, Colorado voters approved Proposition FF to increase state revenue for Colorado taxpayers making $300,000 or more a year by reducing the amount they could deduct on their income tax returns. Proposition FF collected this money for the quote, Healthy School Meals for All program, which created a free lunch program for students across the state. Of course, we know there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. Somebody's paying for it. As you may have expected, the Healthy School Meals for All program ran out of money early on. It's only been a few years here. In April 2024, the Common Sense Institute reported that, quote, after just 1 year, the program is expected to reach CSI's budget deficit projection 5 years early and had a $50 million budget gap. Wow. Failed promises from our politicians, of course. Under Proposition FF, Colorado voters allowed only $100 million, we'll just say that, in additional revenue to be collected by the state. Any revenue collected above that is refunded back to taxpayers because that's all that was allowed under that ballot measure. And now legislators want more of our hard earned money. Proposition LL allows for the state to retain tax revenue that has already been collected in excess of what was previously approved under FF. This is projected to be about $12.5 million this fiscal year and is projected to increase to nearly $14 million next year. Wow, that's a lot of money, folks. LL and MM, at least a portion of MM, were put on the ballot when legislators passed House Bill 25-1274 earlier this year. There it is right there with the prime sponsors, some of the worst offenders down at our state capitol, Representative Lorena Garcia, Senators Daphne Michelson-Janae, and Katie Wallace. Unfortunately, one Republican joined Democrats in voting for this bill, Senator Janice Rich. She has been an extreme disappointment. The voters in her district should definitely hold her accountable. Folks, you got to get Janice Rich out of office and get somebody in there who's actually fiscally disciplined, who actually is fiscally conservative, who actually respects the taxpayers. It's also important to note the language on the ballot title, which begins, quote, without raising taxes. This is deceptive because it is an effective tax increase, i.e., the state keeps more of our money than it otherwise would. So it's just, as we've seen so often, grammatical little tricks they play, They're saying, oh, well, it's not raising taxes because we've already collected that tax money. We're just not going to give it back to you. Well, effectively, you're keeping more tax money. So how is that not a tax increase? If LL passes, taxes will be increased for 200,000 Coloradans, millions of dollars will be taken out of the economy, and Coloradans will have less money to invest in our communities and our businesses. LL also allows for unlimited tax collection, eliminating the Tabor limit for revenue collected through this tax scheme. Proposition LL is bad for liberty. 100%. Unfortunately, I think a lot of Colorado voters are going to support this measure because they don't make $300,000 a year. So they say, hey, the other guy pay for it. Kids can get the benefit. But it's a wealth redistribution scheme. It's bad news for liberty. And of course, it's growing the size of government. Millions of dollars taken out of our Colorado economy. Definitely not something we need right now. So vote no. Vote no on Proposition LL. Let's look at Proposition MM. Proposition MM, increase state taxes for school meals and food assistance programs. Similar to LL, this is a tax increase, but at least it's obvious in the title. A little more honest on this one. The proponents of this bill, state legislators, are hoping that most Colorado voters will have no problem raising taxes on individuals making $300,000 or more. If MM passes, Coloradans will see a whopping $95 million tax increase. Wow. During the special session in August, the legislature passed Senate Bill 25B-003, which amended MM, which was already going to be on the ballot due to House Bill 1274, by adding SNAP food stamps to what the, quote, Healthy School Meals for All program money can be used for, and changed how the money can be allocated. So there you go, folks. You can see how these government programs work. They say, yeah, oh, this is for all the school kids. It's only going to be the cool school kids. Well, now let's go ahead and expand it for anybody that qualifies for SNAP. And let's just go ahead and expand that too. And let's just have this, let's just keep it going. Let's just keep expanding these programs, take more money from hardworking Coloradans, from people who are actually contributing to society, and giving it to these social welfare programs. There's the bill information with some of the prime sponsors, of course, the same ones: Daphne Michelson-Janae, Katie Wallace, Lorena Garcia, and then also Katie Stewart. Unfortunately, one Republican in the House voted with Democrats for this massive tax increase, Representative Rick Taggart. Gosh, that is horrible, folks. Rick Taggart supports tax increases, supports raising money, raising taxes on hardworking Coloradans. He has no place serving our state legislature, that's for sure. MM is a wealth redistribution scheme designed to steal money from higher income earners and give it to school kids and those receiving food stamps. If it passes, the government will grow, more money will be taken out of the economy, and individuals who make good money will have less of it to invest or spend in their communities. The Healthy School Meals for All program has already not delivered on what was promised. Why should this be any different? Politicians make promises, and when they fail to deliver, they keep coming back to taxpayers for more of our money. Enough is enough, folks. Just vote no. MM is bad for liberty. So that's kind of the gist of it, but I want to give you some behind the scenes information here, some background. I did a little bit of digging into some of the money involved in supporting these initiatives. So this is probably some of the most interesting information in this video and the article, and I haven't seen anybody else reporting on it. So let's take a look at who is supporting these initiatives. Let's take a look at the two issue committees that were created to support both of these ballot measures and see where their money is coming from. On the Colorado Secretary of State's website, and I do have it hyperlinked, two issue committees are listed as being registered with the purpose of supporting both of these two ballot measures: Keep Kids Fed Colorado and Community Change Action Colorado. There's a screenshot there. You can see the registered agents and the addresses. Always interesting to see something coming from the Washington, D.C. area swamp. But I'll start with here with Keep Kids Fed Colorado. It is supported by Hunger Free Colorado, a statewide nonprofit that has contributed over $270,000 to this effort. Wow. It's a lot of money, folks. $270,000 to try and convince voters to support this ballot measure. Hunger Free Colorado lists corporate sponsors of Snarf Sandwiches, Dry Dock Brewing, and Easy Cater on their website. Of course, liberty-minded Coloradans should have no qualms about private companies contributing to a nonprofit that wants to feed kids. But let's take a look at how much money Hunger Free Colorado has received from Colorado taxpayers. So into TOPS, that's the TOPS report where you can see the Transparency Online project, and you can see state spending. And you can look at all of these here. Let's see, I can actually probably make it a little bit bigger for you there. There you go. So this is just fiscal year 2025. This is money given out from our state government, from the Colorado Department of Human Services, Public Health, and the Environment. Lots and lots of money. Some of it's grants, some of it's just contributions to nonprofits. Over $2.3 million has been paid out to Hunger Free Colorado by the state government for fiscal year 2025. So that's this year alone, folks. $2.3 million is going into this nonprofit to help feed the kids, I guess. Well, how much of this taxpayer money was then used to fund an electioneering campaign to convince Coloradans to raise taxes? This kind of scheme where tax money is given to a nonprofit and then used for election purposes is a blatant violation of the public trust and should be illegal, in my opinion, 100%. The state is forcibly taking our money so it can be used on an election campaign to take more of our money. Wow. That just makes me so angry, folks. Hunger Free Colorado, sure. Sounds great, wonderful, great idea, great goal, but our state is already supporting them at 2.3 million. Then they use that money for election purposes and just to try and take more and more of our money. I'm sure they're going to get more of it. Let's take a look at Community Change Action Colorado. This group currently only shows a $13,000 contribution from Community Change Action based in Washington, D.C. According to Influence Watch, Community Change Action helped organize the No Kings protests in June of this year, more coming to Colorado here soon, supports illegal immigration and a variety of social welfare programs. You can read that yourself. I always link everything. Community Change Action is also tied to the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition. We see them a lot. The Working Families Party, oh my goodness, the Tides Foundation, George Soros's Open Society Foundations, and the Pritzker Foundation, according to Influence Watch. I mean, this is like the list here of supervillains in terms of politics for if you believe in liberty and freedom. These people are trying to restrict our rights, take our money, and really control every aspect of society, in my opinion. So bad news there, folks. You can see the contribution report on Tracer. Everything's linked. As if there weren't enough reasons to oppose these ballot measures, looking at the supporters and big spenders surely makes the case that these are bad policies for Colorado. And folks, if you haven't gotten on the Free State Colorado email list, there's big things coming that way. Please sign up. I won't spam you. I'll keep it private, but I can tell you there's some good information coming. So there you go, folks. That's the two ballot measures, some of the money that's being spent to support them, the legislators responsible, and of course their big massive welfare wealth redistribution schemes trying to rob the rich to pay to feed the poor. Seems like a noble goal until you realize this is failed programs, failed socialism, and should definitely be opposed. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Please share the ballot guide in the video with anybody that'd be interested, and just give them that quick little synopsis. Vote no on LL, vote no on MM, and please pay close attention to what's going on in your local communities with this year's ballot measures and elections. Thank you so much, and take care.